Well, it's Memorial Day weekend's over, so you could stop remembering dead vets. Take it, Bobby.
Stop remembering dead vets, but never forget 9/11. And joining us tonight, Mark, give me a beat.
No, we're back to this.
Hey, what's up? It's random.
Oh,
What do you need a beat for?
No, because he likes to make people beatbox so he can like say stuff, but you don't have to
I
beatbox.
was just gonna get like a beat. You're probably one of the most musically gifted people we've had on the show, so I was just
Don't say nice shit about me. You know, it makes me freak out when people say nice shit.
Don't you dare
I
start
I
this.
bombed I bombed a I was doing a Staten Island comedy festival. I was auditioning and I kept going up in the ranks. Then all the judges said something nice about me, and I literally openly said fuck this, and then bombed my last round because it just I don't know.
I'm just glad that ended with a comedy festival. When you started with I can't take compliments. I bombed. I didn't know where that the end of that sentence was going, if it was gonna be like a black church or where we were ending.
They were like, "You're a nice white guy." It's like, "Goodbye, church."
A church, I mean, that's a bit I had. I always said I don't get why a bunch of church people like they're praying to God. I can't wait to get to heaven. Maybe God heard their prayers and sent them that gunman. That's how I always thought of it.
I'm just like you said. I'm the same way. After a show, the hardest thing I've had to work on in comedy is taking a compliment.
No, it was during. It was like the final round, and they were just like, and then they just started saying nice things, and I was like, all right, that's. And then they kept going, and then I just freaked out, and I literally said, you can watch a video. I said, I'm bombing this round. Fuck this. Like, I fumbled my jokes and setup and didn't do it right.
I like that better. The whole goal in comedy is so they'll compliment you with laughter and applause. I would love the idea of a comic the second they clap, running into the audience and fight. What the fuck are you doing? Slapping your hands. I'm trying to talk.
Yeah,
Making noise. I'm laughing. Fuck you. At what? Me? Yeah, that's the point.
yeah, I realized I'm really crazy because I've the past 4 years of being a comedic in comedy, I would lash out when people hated me and didn't like me, but then when people are genuine and nice to me, I realize like it makes me freak out. There's no winning with me. It's if you hate me, I have to hate back, but if you love me, I just react negatively and self implode.
That was me in relationships too. I would date someone, and then the second they were like, I would like them, and then they like me back. I'm like, what's wrong with them? Like the entire time, I'm like, and I could not leave that in my head for a long time. I would question what was wrong with them because, well, how could they like me?
I need
It,
like a back and forth of like I hate the world because they don't validate how great I am, but any instance of the world validating I'm great, I'm like fuck you, I'm not, I'm nothing, I'm literally fucking nothing. What's wrong with you
It
guys? It's
is,
just a cycle that never
no,
ends.
there's nothing wrong with you. I think it's how a lot of entertainers and comedians think.
and it's kind of like the Immortal Technique situation where his whole thing was like, I'm unsigned. I could say whatever I want. And then it's like the minute people are like, "Oh man, we'd like to sign you," it's like, no, 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 no. Then I'm not that thing that I like to be. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you kind of like being the outcast a little
But
bit.
I really don't. It's just the role that I've been given. I just am realizing like the reason I'm not successful is maybe because subconsciously somewhere I knew that I just like I wouldn't be able to take it if I were really like famous and like millions of people actually like me. I'd probably just blow my brains out like that, or I don't know. But I wouldn't be able to deal with it.
I think Jesus was the same way. I think he was the whole time. He was just like, I didn't want the whole fame thing. I just wanted to hang out with these 12 dudes. Like I was having a good time. And now you guys want to kill me? The Jews who were supposed to sign me to a contract. Now you're killing me. It sucks.
But that's what someone said. He said, I recognize because what happened with me was I had 14 years of this hero's journey of being a musician and it failed miserably. Like there were some highs and lows in it, but then entering comedy to try to like work that ambition up because you have dreams when you're a kid and to begin one and then end one and then start one again. I started off destructive and resentful, but he said you're like, do you want all the nonsense and bullshit that comes with it? I feel like you're at a point where you'd literally like be happier with no one knowing you and just performing to like 20 people than performing to thousands of people, but everyone's calling you. And it's like I'm still reaching for the performing for thousands or theaters, but it's like I realize maybe I am more comfortable just being a nameless fucking person.
Is the music career dead now?
I've actually I've
Because
I've
I
I
do have some questions.
Yeah, and I would avoid this for the past 4 years because I tried to play a gimmick. I tried to act like I was a prodigal guy. Like, look how good I'm doing on stage. I'm only 6 months into comedy. And it used to piss other comics off, which I really enjoyed. I don't know why they didn't think that was funny, but like, because I have like 14 years stage experience in
Right.
like underground hip hop clubs. So, like, doing comedy clubs are easier for me. But it was like, I mean, it's hard. But it's not easy. It's a very different energy.
Yeah,
But
but you only had to overcome so much. Like
I
people,
tried to act like what I was saying is I tried to act like I had no stage experience, whereas now I'm trying to embrace that I do have like a musical past as a rapper, and I'm actually like working on new music and stuff just for my own sanity. Like I don't know if I'll ever release anything, but it's like just I realized like I was a mentally more healthy person when I was just in my own studio recording or on my own stage rapping and rehearsing than when I wasn't.
Well, this is the POS show, and we are known for our hard-hitting interviews, right, Pat?
we've never actually hit anyone during an interview, but we've
So
made them want to hit us. So
definitely, we've
so.
definitely irritated a couple of people. Random, I gotta ask the question:
Yeah.
is Brendan Sagalow stealing your shtick?
Um, I don't know because I feel like it's like with rap, it it's like how deep do you want to go before you have to back out? And that's kind of like I've performed in clubs where there was shootings like before and then the performance still went on. So it's like how much are you risking your life to do this? And I feel like I was always anti cancel culture in comedy and I still am because I believe people should be able to say what they are, but like watching that the fact when I got like hundreds of death threats and people wanted to confront me on the street and all the horrible things that happened at my time with Gas Digital and everything, like the physical confrontations and all the things, it's almost like I kind of want that experience for other comics just so they can have a little perspective of, you know what I mean? Maybe like, I don't know.
Hey
Yeah.
Bobby, or
I
one of
should,
you can
I,
just for someone who doesn't know, can you catch us up like why Brendan Sagalow? I don't know.
So Brendan Sagalow is rapping now. In
I mean,
addition,
I know him as a comic. I did not know. He
yeah.
was
So on his Patreon with Mike Feeney and Mike Cannon, they're very all funny guys, and
Yeah,
no
I know 'em.
disrespect to
Yeah.
Sagalow at all. But one of the bonuses they were doing on their Patreon is he would put out some of his rap songs, and then he did a.
Was he
rap-
being serious or is it comedic?
It's
I
not.
think he's being serious
Yeah.
because this is the thing is I recognized there was I don't know why I just got a vibe about him that I don't maybe it was a tweet he said years ago something I was like this kid probably tried to be a rapper for a few years and is now in comedy and then it came out that that was his deal.
And he did for Mike's special. Mike Cannon just released his special. The closing song Sagalow did, but it's like full of comedy rap references. Like I'm ripping you off. What is it? Do you know? Are you familiar, Random?
No, not at all with the song. I
Uh,
just
Why
know
would he
that
be ripping off? Are you
um,
just saying because he's rapping
no,
like
no,
he,
no,
or is
no.
he actually ripping him off?
Well,
he's just trying to start shit. He wants me to say something like
no, no,
"Fuck
no, no. I'm
Brendan
asking
Sagalow."
like,
Oh.
do you feel like there's legitimacy there? That was basically the question. Is do you feel like he's
Oh.
actually trying to rap? And you nailed it. And then my
I feel
follow
well. I
up
feel
was
like
gonna
it's like
be
one of these things that comedians have, and it's why they hate me for. And I have in my notes, "Stop acting like a malignant narcissist," where I'm saying me and I in every sentence. But if you're in recovery, like you only can speak from your own experience. I'm not in recovery. I'm on drugs, but I don't want to like just point fingers without addressing myself because that's where I got in a lot of trouble for the past 4 years. Is not being authentic. So people thought I was a fucking character. But I feel like with comics, what I've noticed is because they never chase the rap dream, like they never moved to a city and performed for a bunch of ethnic people, we can say. There's not really a white rapper in the underground scene and had that coldness and did that grind and recorded albums in that sort of environment. What they do is they jokingly say it, like they'll say, "Oh, this is my rap song, but it's terrible because like you know what I mean? They don't polish.
They'll shame
they
it
wouldn't-
right away.
Exactly.
Thank
they
you
wouldn't
for
own it. Like I'll say
phrasing
my
it better,
fucking
yeah.
songs are awesome. My rap songs are better than any comedy I'll ever do.
that was
And they probably are mediocre, my songs, but that's how I feel about them.
that was a much better way of phrasing the question I was trying to ask. Is like, yeah, Sagalow always kind of presents it's like, oh, this is terrible. It's kind
Oh,
of
this
a
is
joke.
nothing you
Whereas
guys because he's trying to present it as a comedian, whereas if you ironically, I presented my comedy as a rapper. That's the thing about me. If you haven't recognized that, I'm like this fucking joke. The next one is I feel like, and here I'm going back to the narcissism thing. I feel like since I entered comedy in 2018, everyone's kind of like collectively that New York City scene is taking on that sort of like confident edge, hip hop persona, like they're like street vibe, like they're trying to get that sort of emphasis or that energy around them. You know, like all the people that
Yeah, like I mean, you definitely see elements of the two bleeding into each other, right? Like
exactly, because I
the
started
sneaker
it.
game.
I'm the fucking comedy god.
Yeah.
I'm the leader, and they're all followers. Everyone that's on Gas Digital or signed to Gas Digital, they're all like, "Oh shit!" I called myself the chosen one, and then the Loud Boys did it. You know, rest in peace, Loud Boys. Colin Terrell did it. Mike Figs did it. They all started saying like, "I'm the best." They started calling their podcast bangers, which is hip hop. They use that for songs, singles, and stuff. I started
Would
that
it
wave.
would it be?
Fuck everyone.
I guess the best question I have is, would it be a good metaphor to say Sagalo is the Drake of comedian rappers, whereas you are the Pusha T? You've actually been about the life, you've lived that life, whereas he's kind of just using the fame from one thing into another. He's decent at it, but at
Well,
the
the
end of the
thing
day,
is,
it's two different breeds.
well, it's like with me because I wiped the internet. I paid thousands of dollars to wipe the internet clean, and unfortunately, I still saw like fan channels and shit and like videos of live performances. It wrecks my whole week, by the way. But I can. It's only when I'm on a lot of coke can I watch a performance of myself rapping and be like, okay, that was decent. But I don't know his history. Like for all I know, you could go to Sagalo's house and he has like a catalog of 10 albums and you're like, "Oh man, he really was about this." Like or it's just like a single. The reason I never told people I was a rapper is because the general consensus is because we're doing internet things. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're a rapper. Would you record one song and put it on SoundCloud?" Like, no, I fucking did the journey. I was in a car with six dudes that looked like a basketball team and just smoking and we went from like Detroit to Chicago to Colorado to Vegas. And then,
Okay,
you know what I
Mark,
mean?
you're gonna play
Maine.
for a team called the Generals, the Washington Generals. This is Curly, Mo. Okay.
I did Southwest with 300 people rapping for 20 minutes straight. Just you know what I mean? I have that sort of to my resume, and I stupidly like the credits don't transfer over in comedy. I'm an open micer or opener. I open for some people, but that's where I'm at comedically. Like I can only say 4 years of comedy. I can't say 10 years of rap or 12 years of rap because my first performance was I think I was like in high school when I did my first rap performances in like Jersey City and shit. You know what I mean?
But you can say 15 years of an entertainer or 15 years killing on
18,
stage,
18
and
years,
that's what you are.
18 years on stage. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
But
and that's
but I was ignorant about like I was trying to be because it's like the part of comedy is to be offensive and if you can offend audience with like jokes but it's like it's hard to offend comedians so I thought it was funny to offend comics by saying what I've only been an open micer for 3 months I've only done 4 shows and then I would like make the like be very enigmatic on stage you know what I mean
Makes
like
sense, yeah.
I was trolling comics for the past I mean, the last year I genuinely wanted to do comedy, but the past couple of years I was kind of trolling, like I was like parodying comedy, but also putting I there was actually just a lot of misunderstanding. I thought the comedy industry worked the same way as the rap industry. They're actually polar opposites, so I'm getting in like still confrontations and shit, and I don't know how to get out of that. It's
I'm not
just
gonna lie. At first, when I first heard you as a comic, I thought you were doing like an Andy Kaufman type thing.
yeah, everyone did.
I know. And then when we talked to you, I'm like, no, your humor is different, but you've seen the world way different way. And like now that I know this more, I get it. You were
Yeah,
kind
it
of
makes sense. That's what I'm
juggling
saying. Like,
things. You know what I mean? What'd be funny to me is if you or Sagalo or anyone who's juggling rapping and comedy to bring the wrong notebook would be fucking hilarious. Like if you show up to comedy and you go in your notebook and all you've got is your fucking your bars, like I'd be like, fuck, I don't know what to do.
the thing that I hate is I can still recite my rap songs from like songs that are over 10 years old, but I have trouble memorizing my jokes.
Oh,
Like I'll forget
I
my
understand
jokes
that.
on stage, but I don't understand it.
I was doing a show on Friday, and it was like a family oriented type thing. Not that it had to be clean, but I knew what they want. A guy was getting married. It was supposed to be a bachelor party, but it ended up being a comedy show for all these people. So like, I have jokes from my first album that I did like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when I was first divorced. That would make more sense about being married. I was trying to remember the joke. I couldn't. I literally had to listen to my first album twice to remember you know, what the
You
wording
have it
was,
on a
the
headset.
cadence.
You could be like a pop comic, like in sync. Like just have your comedy playing through your ears and reciting it that way.
lip sync it to have
Lip
played
sync
over.
comedy, yeah.
With Ashley Simpson to fucking do it. But the fun thing was by hearing it again and then trying to tell the joke, I'm such a different comic. Not only better, but like
You probably
I
had
know my
different
character.
punchlines to it.
Not even punchlines, but the feeling was better to it. It had better energy to it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed telling it because it was like new to me again too. So I was obviously having fun doing it.
That's cool.
And I was a little angrier because like I'm so disconnected from being married that I was like, fuck that. Like it wasn't like new still. Did he run away? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what you were doing there, Bobby. I was like, are we having a beef with Brendan Sacklow? I'm like, so you were just saying he also raps. There is no beef between the two of them, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, because when you said that is because you said it like it was a known thing, and I'm like, I know who they both are, but
The comedy community has been kind of discussing the whole Sagalo rap thing.
yeah, most of our listeners are just wonderful people who don't tell jokes ever. So.
No, yeah, no, I know. I thought it was a fun topic.
I know what it was, and you're like,
the best.
And in the Drake thing, not trying to be a dick, but when you message me, it's gonna be a huge punchline. I was like,
oh, that was the worst part is I knew it wasn't gonna be a huge punchline. I was just trying to do literally a 30-second introduction joke and should have read it better, but at that point we were already in.
And then TJ Holly's probably Googling Pusher T right now.
He's gonna fall in love.
So if he can't come back, I'll just keep doing the show anyway. Okay,
yeah, absolutely. I'm resetting our scenes as we just talk. So if you're watching on YouTube,
oh, I thought we were just talking the whole time. So
no, I mean we're still recording.
Oh, okay. You kind of went off mic, so it feels like I'm the only one talking. Like it's
you can't see me, but did it so I could talk.
What are you, John Cena? I am watching way too much 2005 going into 2006 wrestling right now, and it's like John Cena's album drops. So they're doing the video "Bad Bad Man" every week on Raw and SmackDown, where they dressed up like the A-Team. Oh, dude, it's fucking so bad. Like when he was talking about rapping, there's two guys that are with him that I felt bad. I feel bad as a comic knowing like watching John Cena rap and having two backup rappers is kind of like when I first started and I'd have to open for like Jimmy Walker or like Screech, and it's just like the guy in front of you is not that good, but people are showing up for that guy. So can I kill it? And I'm watching these guys. One guy's called Trademark and one guy's called Bumpy Knuckles. And I don't think they've ever done anything in their lives, but they weren't bad. But I'm like, that had to suck when they're like, we're going to do what? We're going to be on John Cena's album. Oh shit.
Okay.
Is it going to be a rap album? Well, kind of, but it's also got the heavyweight championship of WWE on the front. So it's like it's only pushed by WWE. Have you ever heard that album?
Yo, excuse me. Exactly who is the demographic for this rap album?
It was white boys from 13 to 17.
I think I have heard some of those songs.
Bad Bad Man is not a terrible song. They spent way too much money on the video when it's supposed to be like the A-Team, but someone's kidnapping the 80s stars to stop the 80s from happening. And Gary Coleman's in it for real. And he's like, I hope I could find the Chain Gang, because that's what they're called. That was John Cena's group. Like his fans were called that for when he wore the chain. Instead of the A-Team, they were the Chain Gang. So he's dressed up with a wig on being Hannibal from the A-Team. And he's like, maybe you can find them. He's like, I'm right here. And then they start doing the song, but it's like the black guy's dressed up like Mr. T. The white other rapper is dressed up like Murdoch. There is no face in this scenario, but there's a fake Michael Jackson, a fake Madonna. They're kidnapped. If it's really, spoiler alert, it's really Gary Coleman was the one who kidnapped all of them to ruin the 80s and capture the Chain Gang. And then John Cena blows them up with dynamite and kills everyone except for the three of them. And it's over. It's the worst, but it's silly, but I get what they were trying to do. But
why do I have to play Murdoch? Can I play face? It feels like it really doesn't move the plot along at all, me playing Murdoch instead of face. It just feels like it's a way of you saying I'm ugly.
Well, that guy?
Yeah, like I'd be like, why can't I be face?
I think it's because he had like the Murdoch had the long hair. So this guy wanted to wear a hat with long hair. I think they had like 4 props. And one was a hat with long hair on it. So when the thing blew up, comically it flew off. You could see that Trademark the rapper is really a bald white guy. Which, by the way, if you're gonna beat John Cena in rap, have 2 black rappers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Give me
I
more
agree.
credit. The fact that you only get 1 black guy and the guy actually sounds like Mr. T too. Like he wasn't doing the voice, he raps and sounds like Mr. T, which is not a great rap voice.
I don't get it. Although they did a lot of questionable things there.
When he tries to come back in, we'll let him in. But until then, I was starting to say, I did a comedy show this weekend with our former guest Dave Hintz. At my comedy show, I got hit up. I think I mentioned this on there. I got hit up by someone that I knew in college, around college times. She was a bartender where I also bartended. And then a year or 2 later, she was the manager of the first place I put on comedy shows.
Okay.
Because, long story short, my boss, I used to bartend this place when I was in college called New West
Long
Cafe.
story short, Bobby, I got a great penis. So.
Right. Big piece.
Yeah, so I put it in a couple of times, and she's like, "Hey, you do comedy, right? Come do it at my place. It's an excuse to see that great dick of yours."
No, I thought you were just doing ski mask, selling all your shit. Like, geez, if you have, by the way, if you're not even watched the ski mask and fucking Carl episode, there is not a weirder combination of 2 people, but people are enjoying it so far. But I mean, it's everything you want in life: topless men, guns, madness. It's puns. I don't know. I really enjoyed Carl, and I thought ski mask was exactly what you thought ski mask would be.
He was 1,000%.
He got irritated at one point. He was happy another time. Shirts started coming off. A real gun comes out.
That was the only scary part. You're like, are we about to see a live suicide?
Doing the nips of Fireball, which means he went out and actually bought nips of Fireball like a teenage girl and a gun. Those are 2 purchases he's made. But anyway, so I got hit up by this woman I knew because I knew her from like college times. And I hadn't talked to her forever. We weren't like really close then. We kind of knew each other. And she said, "Hey, small world. I was talking with a friend of mine, and my husband's birthday's coming up. And my friend was saying to me that when her husband turned like 40 or whatever a couple years ago, she had this comic come and like roast him, and we gave him a jokes, and we had like family members come up and do things, and he was hilarious, and we're actually going to hire him again for when my husband turns like 50, whatever." And she goes, "Oh, what's the comic's name?" And she said, "My name." And this girl goes, "I fucking bartended with him like 25 years ago. That's crazy." So she messages me and says, "Hey, small world, whatever. Is there any chance you would do this? I want you to roast my husband." And I was like, "No, thank you. I'll do a comedy show in your backyard for all your friends and stuff like that. But the roast thing, you guys all think is going to be fun. No one in your family is really going to want to do it. The ones that end up wanting to do it think they'll be funny. It'll be fucked up.
It's the ones you don't want roasting that will actually try, and the ones that should that don't."
Now, or worse, and this has happened to me twice. Somebody gives you information that you think is cool. It's happened at bachelor parties more, but also at roasts. They give you information that you think's fine, and you don't realize that this information is gonna like ruin their marriage or get them fired. Like I've had a guy say that he was just poonhound in the last year. They were in Vegas and they got a hooker. This guy's been married 10 years. I didn't know that. So I'm on stage. I have a joke ready, but I hear someone else saying married 10 years, and I kind of bailed on it. And I went over afterwards, and I was like, "What was that?" And he goes, "Oh, dude, it's a crazy fucking story." I'm like, "He would have gotten divorced, dude." He goes, "That would have been nuts, right?" And I'm like, "No, dude.
No, that would have ruined somebody's life. Jesus Christ.
Or
and got me shot.
Like I'm a detective and would know. Like I only found out because of this, whatever the fuck. But anyway, so I was like, I'd rather do a comedy show. I bring another comic with me. It'd be cool. She goes, "Yeah, we'll set up details in a little bit." So we talked one more time. In a couple of days, it got close. It was like a last second thing. And it was like Wednesday in the week, and I had not heard from her. It was supposed to happen on Sunday. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Maybe they just don't want to do it anymore. Maybe the husband didn't want to do it. Whatever it was, I'm not going to push it. It was a friend thing, whatever." I don't say anything. On Thursday, I get a message going, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought you ghosted me like you didn't want to do this. But then I saw her daughter's like 5 years old. Her daughter likes to grab her phone and hit the buttons. So she went into there and made everything red. So she thought when I messaged her and said, just hit me up with details soon, she didn't know she was supposed to be hitting me up with details, waiting for me to say something because the message was fucking red. and it wasn't there. Now Mark's gonna come back in a minute. So long story short, the story. So we end up doing the show. We do whatever. I'll let him back in a second. And we get to do the whole fucking show. It was a good time, but it was crazy because I'm telling every joke that I always want to tell, trying to censor myself a little bit, but watching Dave censor himself was great. But the family was all there. The husband didn't know I was coming.
That's the worst.
So most people didn't. Her cousin knew, and then she had two other friends there that I knew since college. One of the guys I've known since I was 8 years old. His mom and my mom were like best friends when I was little. We were like babysat each other. My brother says all that when they went to work, like in the 80s, you'd have to need babies. Like we're like 10 years old, 20 years old, watching each other all day long. And then then I knew it was weird. My whole life with this guy, Jordan, I've known him through high school as well. And then I went to the Navy for a little, like I told before. Then I came back and went to college at Southern. And who's becomes my good friend in college? Gerard again, because he's there. His first real job, my dad ran a Budweiser distributor, and I got him a job there when I worked there, working there. So when I walk in, and that's the first motherfucker I see, I'm feeling good. And
this is going to be a good night.
Better. He knows everybody at the party, and they don't. So he's telling everybody, him and his wife, who I knew from college too, they're both like, dude, this guy has been like the funniest motherfucker we've known since before he's a comic. Like college, telling stories and that. So now everybody's like
excited
from a thing where
to
I was
see
worried
you.
was going to happen. Dave's like, holy shit. Now they're all changing the whole patio around to make it like a comedy club so they can sit. Kids are running around, but they're like, they don't care. They're like, do your thing, get the sound out, do whatever. So we're doing a show for like 45, 50 people in this fucking giant, like rich person's backyard. But when she introduced me to the husband, she just goes, and we'll let him in 1 second. But she introduced me to the husband.
He's messaging me, that's all.
No, that's what I figured. So I was like, hey, I walked over and she goes, she's giving me a big hug. And then this guy's this handsome, rich white man, whatever. She's a very pretty. First of all, the three women that I knew from college, I'm not even trying to be complimentary. It was insane. One of the three of them I didn't recognize because when I saw her, I said, that looks like this girl I knew from college that knew them well. That must be her daughter. Because, dude, I swear to God, because she's supposed to be my age, it's the same fucking lady. Yeah, when you get maybe a little bit of age in her face, but this girl looked in her 20s and she's 45 years old. And the three of them looked like that. So I was bringing up, like, white men with money can keep women looking good forever, whatever.
What a baller move.
Right. So I walk over, but I wasn't even trying to be complimentary. It just really was fucking real. So I walk over and she's like, and the husband's like, oh, who's this? And I'm standing there with Dave. So I'm like, oh, okay, are they gonna say it's comedy now, whatever? And she just goes, oh, he's his daughter goes to school with our daughter, whatever. And this is his friend Dave, and I'm kind of like, does this guy think I'm fucking his wife? Like, that's what I would think. Like, what do you mean you know our daughter? Like, I don't know who you are. Why are you at why are you at my birthday party? But you can tell this guy knows his wife enough. And I found out later how their humor is. He goes, oh, hey, well, welcome. And you and your friend have some food, whatever. I'm like, all right, happy birthday, whatever. A couple minutes later, she goes, where should we set up? I go, can you tell him?
Yeah, this is weird.
To make it cool, because he has a friend that's 400 pounds and giant, scary biker-looking guy. I don't want him to get mad.
I don't want
but they
him
were
to do
laughing
that.
at an idea. He told me afterwards, he goes, it's cool, because like 2 years ago for her birthday, I hired her a midget. I go, what? He goes, yeah, it came to the door, and this girl Megan is nuts. I go, how did you
get
handle
me
it?
that number? That's you.
I said that later, and my buddy was laughing because he knows me. But so she said, I said, how'd you handle it? And he goes, she was mad when he wouldn't strip.
That's so
like,
funny.
Come on, I want to see it. What the fuck we're paying? But the show was fun. All right, we'll get Mark.
That's
back
awesome.
But get him back in here. He's back. You all right?
Yeah.
Did
sorry
Brendan
about that.
Saglow come to your house and beat you up? What happened?
It was just two tall, lanky motherfuckers. One Kermit the Frog sounding guy and one guy who went gray way too young being like, we got to talk.
Is he Tom Link, Brendan?
No, he was the other one. It was Feeney and Cannon who showed up.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was going to say, I remember him being not fat, but like a little stout. I don't know though. Feeney's Mike Feeney and I both opened for Gilbert Gottfried when I tell that story about how he kept asking for free shit. Like, so we were together on that show. I think Feeney's a comics person.
They're both a man. RanDom, welcome back.
Sorry about that.
What happened?
I'm really bad about that. My computer overheated.
You would think all those years of you spitting those hot fire bars, it would be able to take a little heat.
Maybe I was just subconsciously spitting them, but
oh, God.
yeah, that because the career worked out so well that if it's not plugged in all the time, I don't know how it wasn't unplugged. It just fucking goes out.
Jeez.
I think
Sorry.
your computer's kind of like you, where like if it's doing a good job, it feels like it shouldn't, so it just stops.
Yeah, it's like fuck this.
Yeah, it's like where it's working fine, it's great. Fuck, you think I'm good? You think I'm okay? I'm going on for a bit.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, I keep mine. I'm an old man, so I don't know. I keep my laptop plugged in 24 fucking 7.
Mine
People are like,
has
you
to
shouldn't do
be,
that.
and I don't know how it got unplugged because that's the one thing I'm always thinking is fuck, my laptop has to be plugged because that happens a lot. I don't.
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't. Yeah,
just
I leave everything.
impressed
The
by
microphone's plugged in. Everything's plugged in always. Like I don't
Yeah.
ever unplug. I don't move it. I don't do shit with it. I don't even watch porn on it. I don't want to ruin it. That's what your phone is for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like how you left and I talked to Bobby, and then you come back and Bobby leaves. So it's just a lot of work on me. Thanks, Bobby.
You were saying you wanted to carry more weight.
No, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm
Oh,
running
my
all the
bad,
time
my bad.
and doing stuff. That's it. No, I actually was. I guess I was telling a whole story where you're gone, Mark. But long story short, I saw people I hadn't seen in a long time,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling good about myself because people always tell me I look a little younger than my age. I'm in good shape for my age. And I get there, and the 4 people I know, the guy was a little heavier, but the 3 girls I knew since college, which was 27 years ago, all looked exactly the same as they did in college. I'm like, fuck you. Like, here I am feeling good because I might look 45 instead of 47. They all look 20 something.
But I'm telling you, it's about your energy. My energy is older than you. Like you have the energy of like, let's fucking get up and do this, and I have the like, fuck it. Like, you know, like that's how depressed I was. Like, because if something didn't work out musically, it would be like, oh fuck. But my thing shut off, and I was like, yeah, all right, fuck.
Yeah,
That
I
was
get
my
that, though.
appearance on that podcast.
I was there. I was there. Like I'd say 5-6 years ago, I was something bad went. My clinical depression was awful. A lot of it, weight loss helped a lot, but meditation helped a lot. But it's
Yeah.
not for everybody. You know what I mean? Therapy was good for me in the last year.
I've been
but
going through different medications. I don't know, like, thankfully, hopefully, no one's recognized. I don't know if you guys have recognized my erratic fucking, just crazy DMs to people thinking that the CIA is going to see this. So I better make a nice fucking love message. I messaged every female comic some love message because I thought the CIA was trying to fucking get me to do MK Ultra. So I was like, no, just if this, or I'm supposed to procreate and have the Antichrist. And this is not a fucking character. Those are real. Like, it's a character now. I can laugh about how ridiculous it was, but in December when I was sending all those DMs out, and just January, February, March, I've just been going through a lot of different medication changes. So,
dude, if you got me too'd for kindness, that'd be fucking awesome.
but like, but that it's like a crazy fear. Like, I'll openly on this podcast say I'm in love with Karen Feehan, Chrissy Mayer, Christina Hutchins, every female comic I am in love with. I want a romantic, monogamous, platonic, but relationship with just like out of, oh my God, I'm going to get killed by the CIA in 2 years, you know?
Judy Gold.
Yes.
Are you in love with the comedic mind?
No, just pure like
Nah,
I
Pat,
don't
it's
know.
about
I
them
just-
titties.
No, I literally feel
Those
Ah.
are all different kinds of titties.
I
Exactly.
feel like a CIA agent's gonna come through and kill me. Not because in the day it used to be because I thought I was important and I was gonna be big and influential. Now I feel like it's they just don't want the tax dollars, so they just come and pop me and no one would give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if they want to get a white guy now, they don't do it for taxes anymore. You're
They
fine.
use you as a patsy for. I mean, allegedly. I don't know. I don't know. I was literally starting a sentence with, "Hey, you know how all those shootings are fucking false flag?" Like, that's. I probably should take some kind of medication. I'm sorry about that.
Are you in love with all female not all, but like is female comedians what turns you on because you do comedy? Were you in love with female rappers before comedy?
No. It's purely just because, like, I don't want to fuck up whatever my purpose in life is, and I feel like I'm so close to death, and it's scary. So it's like, am I supposed to just have a baby with this person, and they'll go on to be president, or just you know what I mean? Like just
Fulfill
crazy,
whatever purpose you have in the
yes,
universe.
fulfill what, yeah. And I feel like it's careers and those you impact and relationships being one of the component of life. Yes, fulfill whatever purpose via career and or relationship. So I sent like just, but yeah, I would definitely get me too'd by every female comic for just this hey, the one time we hung out, it was really cool, and I always saw you like this. But I get it's like this all politics. But if there's ever a day, I just timing and just like it's just.
Did you get any responses? You couldn't have. They had to just not respond at all, right? I would just not respond.
That's but the thing that works is I'm Mark Random. Like, what would you expect from Mark Random except some crazy schizophrenic love note? You know what I mean?
It is what I would expect from you. That does make a little more sense. I do like to think that if the FBI did set you up or the CIA for an assassination, it would be what turned Louis J. Gomez into the Puerto Rican Alex Jones.
Did he really turn down that alley?
No, I'm saying if you got murdered, that would be what turned him down
Bobby,
that
you
alley.
just keep slinging things that are like Brendan Sagalow and Mark Random fight. Really? No, not at all.
Yeah, you
Luis
just
Gomez is Alex Jones. Like what?
No, I'm saying you were missing for that, Pat. I said if Random got murdered, I like to think that's what would turn Louis J. Gomez into the Puerto Rican Alex Jones. The frogs are gay.
I love Gas Digital. I believe I will never be back on that network for personal politics, but I feel like the fans are just this, and I treat it like if you've ever been thrown in a mental institution or in prison or a rehab where you realize like I fucked up. Like I used to hate how everything went down, and now I look at it like that was a learning experience that I fucked up in 2017 by trying to off myself and then going in all these fucked up relationships when I had multiple girlfriends. Like my energy was fucked up and it was bad, and that was like the rehab. Like that was the Gas Digital was the halfway house for my mistakes that I made in life. And I don't know, I just feel like they give into like the internet negativity so much. It's like they want like Dalton, who's a nice guy, just some sacrificial. They want people to kill themselves and they want murder. So anytime I'd be like, hey, you want to play one of my rap songs? Like, no, talk about when you know what I mean? Like they made me out to be some sort of like the very two-dimensional aspect of what I am.
And it turns out all they had to do to make you really want to kill yourself was go do what we do and be like, Mark, we think you're a very talented individual. You've got a lot of interesting things to say, and we love having you on every time.
I honestly wish I didn't say that.
No, dude, and all kidding aside, we really do enjoy you. I enjoy you.
Stop.
I think you're
garbage, Mark.
Thank you.
No problem.
I think the beauty is that you are garbage, Mark. How's that?
I'm the most beautiful piece of garbage that ever existed. How about that?
You're a beautiful disaster, like every white woman's meme.
There you go.
Fucking.
I've
the white woman.
thoughts of
I can't get off this, but I need to ask because you Yes, you are random. I don't mean to say it that way, but yes, random. You randomly named those three women, or is it really those three women that you are like? What?
Well, no.
Are you in love with social media? People that are good at social media presence, because that's what they have in common.
No, those were the only comics I've like met and hung out with in person. Not
legitimately those three on purpose. It wasn't examples.
Well, I mean, like
there's three totally different women.
There's other female comics I just don't want to name because I don't want them to be a part of the fucking nonsense that is my existence.
So I'm guessing those three have acknowledged.
There's a female comic I'm with. We're doing a show. I'm plugging it. Mark Random and Lizzie Durazo. The Dark Nights with. I fucked up the promo of that. Dark Nights with Lizzie and Random. I'm in love with her. That's forever. That's like one of those Jesselyn Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein types of things. But there's a female comic I would like a relationship with that I like so much. I will never tell people who she is, so it can't get fucked up.
I need you to elaborate on that.
I'll say two things. Two, we're gonna get right back to the example of your love, which I thought was amazing. But is it the other? We're not gonna out the other one, but is the other one an actual comic or is it someone like?
Yeah, she's just fucking adorable.
But an actual performing comedian.
Yes.
All right, because a lot of times when people say comedian now, they actually just mean someone who's funny on Twitter sometimes.
Yeah, or like a TikTok person.
Right. I didn't know if that actually was that.
But again, this is another of like, oh, is she secretly like an undercover operative and that's why me and her have these conversations, or we'll see each other sometimes at clubs in New Jersey. Is that what this is about? Like, that thought has crossed my mind too.
Or are they afraid that you want to have a Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell relationship with them, which means they have to work very hard to get a bunch of kids to an island while they hang out? Because that's a lot of work. For a guy, Mark, who couldn't handle his computer being on, to traffic children, it would be a lot of fucking coordinating, you know what I mean? Getting shit down.
Listen,
I don't know.
random.
I feel
Caitlin
like
Murphy is not a CIA agent. It's okay.
He's not from Jersey, is he?
I was just throwing a name out there to make it seem like I knew who it was.
We're just this is the show where Bobby just names people in hopes they find out we get views. I like it. It's like,
that was
really
what
not what
I
I'm
was
trying.
just gonna say. Like, I was just gonna allude to, like, who's the girl, redhead? I fucking forgot her name. We said her name 3 times. Chrissy Mayer and Frank. Like, I wanted to make that joke, but I'm like, everything's so coded now. It's like, if I said, like, oh, you mean like Frank and Chrissy, like, because they have that work.
oh no, because they're known. It's a thing.
I'm not saying that they literally fucking fuck. I mean, like, if they would, I like, I need to get on. So, like, cut me in on the deal. Basically, I'll help. I'll wrangle the kids. Chrissy can fuck them, and Frank can film them and post it. Cut me in on the action, is what I'm saying, Chrissy Mayer.
No, and that's
I
a
know
good.
you're
They're,
the
they're a good
CIA.
example. I've only met
know
Frank
you are
once.
the
He was a
fucking
real
CIA.
nice guy to me. Christy's always been nice to me.
Comedy.
I've met Christina one time. I think all the people you named I've met once. Feehan, I think I've met twice, but I've only met them once or twice. We've never DM about love though. I didn't
All
get
of them,
the connection you got.
all of them, paragraphs of fucking crazy.
I mean, Chrissy
love.
I've met a bunch of times, and we have chatted, but there was never DMs of love like you've got. Now, are they paragraphs, or is it your paragraphs and then them just going?
No,
huh?
mine, just
Yeah.
solely mine. No, going one way direction.
Yeah, there's no
Because
second part to that.
they're the CIA. They never leave a paper trail. I'm
That
still
was
the
nice
rookie.
of them all not to block you.
I didn't think of it like that.
You know what I mean? I hate to say that, but that actually that means that they understand. Hey, this is a guy who's probably going through some crazy stuff. He's harmless,
Because
whatever.
Chrissy's known me for like 3 years,
Yeah.
and it's just been cordial. And then out
Or
of
how
nowhere,
could they
this
keep
fucking,
reporting
with,
on
like,
him if they
coded
blocked him?
message of like the C is capitalized and like caring, I in like identity, A, like the letter, like, goddamn, I'm fucked up.
Okay, you know what, girls, block them. I'm sorry. I'm trying to help out. Fucking run. I just feel bad because now that we've named the 3 of them, all these other people are like, yo, those bitches don't mind if you slide in the DMs. And now everyone's going to be blowing them up.
No, don't.
No one else.
Don't.
That is, first of all,
But this was also a problem I had. Is I thought what me and Lizzie had was forever. And when you have love forever, you're like, oh, all female comics are rapists. Oh, all those chicks can suck my dick. Fuck women. And then I realized, like, if I have to take a job in a different place, our relationship might not work out. And I'm like, oh, I'm actually gonna have to interact with these
other people.
It's great, you guys, female comics, right?
Everybody loves
Like,
female comics.
aren't they the best? But like, yeah, I if anything, like those female comics we just named, wouldn't you think it's romantic that I liked a woman so much and rumors went around about my huge dick? So I called every female comic rapist and said horrible things to push them away to ensure that relationship would,
I think
not have to be.
you're the ultimate feminist, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
These women hear about how big your dick is, the Mark RanDom personality. They hear you
the
talk.
Allure, there's
You got to do
fear, so
something to
there's
push them
excitement.
away. Yeah.
So I just called them all child rapists and said they don't belong in comedy. That's romantic, I think.
oh, I just realized I know who Lizzie Durazo is. I did not know
my
until
fucking fiance. Like, we went up,
right.
and now it's like
I didn't know the
we were
name with the thing, but also she wrote a great article that I read a while back. The one about the comedy police.
Yeah.
I loved that when that came out. So I was like, I knew the name, but I didn't know what's wrong.
Now I feel like you're in on it. Fuck.
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
having the Truman Show shit right now.
No,
God
Mark,
damn it.
Mark, I do a lot of writing. I wrote a comedy book. I like pay attention to other people that do that kind of stuff. And she wrote that.
No, me and her, we went through the boyfriend and girlfriend, then exclusive, then we're calling each other husband and wife, and now we're going back to
a comedy duo.
We want to get married. All right, now it's boyfriend and girlfriend. All right, now I might have to sling dick to fucking successful female comics.
Sorry,
I think you should just focus on her. The fact that she hasn't run away from you when you're doing all this shit, Just
And
focus on that lady.
Or has she been the one encouraging it?
I
Has
think
she been the one?
no.
If I get a spot on Chrissy Mayer's wet spot, she goes, she only wants you because she's attracted to you. So you have to be provocative towards
No,
her.
because you're
I'm
a
like, what are you
lunatic, and that fits well with other people on that show.
Exactly.
You and Barry Rib is a fun combo.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you saying what you say next to a stripper, or I mean a porn star. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. That would be amazing. But it was crazy. It was like I would enjoy that. They're booking you because you're like the reason why we want to have you on, because you're a fun personality and you don't have to stay in a format. You can just have a good time for an hour.
Yeah.
But no, if your girl really does know, if Lizzie really knows you, she would know encouraging you will never work.
What do you mean by that?
I had to send a message. What did I miss? It sounds like Mark's rap battling Brendan Sagalow for Lizzie's love. Is that what I heard?
Mark has a rap album called Christina. What's the name?
The
Lizzie.
3Ks. The 3Ks that I'm trying to impress.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh, Chrissy's a C because you were almost KKK for your three women.
She's not a C. She's a pretty nice girl. I would say the other Chrissy's a C.
No, the starting of her name, not the word. How dare you?
40 minutes of like real deep philosophical shit, and then some cute wordplay from RanDom, and we're all like, "Oh fuck, he caught us off guard. I forgot what comedy is."
I like how you think cute wordplay is. No, she's not a cunt. That's cute from Mark RanDom. That's his new perfume.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to dig myself out of the horrible aura I made for myself, because one of those women fucking reported me for apologizing to them, and it's like that was weird. Like,
you probably made him uncomfortable.
But it's like just like that to me. It's like that's scary to me. Like, I blocked that one, and I don't want to say which one it was, but to me it's like that's just, I don't know, like. The way these people operate is a world I'll never understand, so I'm trying to make my own path and go in a different direction. I fucked up not understanding New York City comedy. I apologize. I don't want any issues, and I'm just like rerouting and going in a wherever direction.
I think the best thing to do is just do your path and not try to overthink how everyone else does it, because no one can put you in a blanket. So you shouldn't put everyone else. There's not New York City comedy. It's all different peoples and all different minds. So some people can handle one. You don't know a day or thing or other thing they've gone through, and that's what they're. That's what I've learned from years of being the aggressor and then going, nah, I don't know what's in their head or what's in their life or their day. Just put out my thing, and if it comes back to me, great. If it doesn't, move on.
I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but one of my favorite quotes is everybody would be like, "Are you the next Jordan?" And he would be like, "No, I'm the first LeBron."
He literally was. No black people ever named their kid that to him.
But
you set him up, you teed him up, and he
hit the home run. Yeah, but like, I would
Larry
say this,
Bird couldn't be like, I'm the first Larry. Like, no, you're not. There's so many fucking Larrys.
Right. He was the first LeBron.
Also, I didn't to go back to the female comics for a second, but in a way, I should be like un-Me Too, because I'm probably the only male comic to never have sent a sexual message of any sort in like 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean?
Ever? You said ever, and then it said or 4 or 5 years.
No, 4 or 5. The starting.
Oh, the years you've done comedy. I thought you meant like 5 years ago. You wrote the sweetest fucking.
The sweetest, like.
Oh man,
sexting,
5.5 years ago, it was the sexiest message I've ever sent. But since then, well, first of all, let's start the hashtag #UnMeToo. I think that's fantastic.
No, but it's like that should verify that the most I am to women is I'll crazily think that we're supposed to get married for the CIA. I'm not
That's
a creep.
pretty crazy.
I'm not like a fucking asking for nudes or anything type of guy or sending a dick pic.
But once again, it's not about what we think makes them uncomfortable. It's what makes them uncomfortable. Men and women.
But
like
what about what the CIA says? What if
a guy
CIA
can say
says
something to
they're
me in a certain way, and he could think that I'm not going to get upset or angry, or he could think he's angering me, and it's not going to work because he's thinking from his perspective and not mine.
The old 2018 me would say then they should have to get the fuck out of the environment. But I am kind of seeing that point of view. I don't know. I feel like it then puts me in a weird position if everyone's saying they're afraid of me. You know what I mean? Like, it leaves me no recourse to navigate Like, can I even go into a comedy club if they're all fucking afraid of me and they're all saying he scares me? You know what I mean? Like, like
that's also you believing that everyone is thinking about you.
no, not
Comedians are
about
no.
me,
I know at the moment they do it, but at the same time, comedians are one of the most selfish fucking people in the world. And not even saying like in a like a relationship or anything. That in the sense of comedy, when I go to a comedy show, I'm thinking so much about me. Someone would have to remind me that you said crazy shit for me to even think about. I would just go, oh, that's that guy Mark I know. That's all I would think. What am I saying?
You know what? That makes me feel more comfortable about walking into a comedy club. Thank you.
And I'd be
You're
like,
right, they would
oh
be so
fuck,
full of their
Mark's
own
here.
nonsense.
How could I follow him?
Not
How
even,
could I
to be
follow
honest,
him
they
and
wouldn't even
grab
think
him
they'd be
in
like,
the
how can I blow him out
bathroom?
of the water? Like that would be it. That's the confidence level of, or the unconfidence level that somebody would have. Everybody is there to think about what they're doing. Everybody's thinking that someone else is thinking about them. In my comedy book, I actually wrote about that. I said, like, no one's thinking about you. So you have to make sure people do, like, in the right way. Like, I knew comics that would be like mad because a booker didn't hit them up every 2 weeks. It's like, they get hit up by everyone. They're not going to think about you.
That used to be me. I used to care because I had a step kid that I may or may not have 100% custody of now. So that's all, you know.
Don't teach them how to DM.
No, but it was like that was why I put the emphasis on this sort of like whatever the fuck I was doing for the past 4 years trying to succeed was to make that relationship work out, and it didn't. And I'm just like, all right, like whatever God has for me, whether because I've always wanted to be a comedian. So it's like whether it's music or comedy, but I like fucked up so bad my reputation. I mean, it wasn't 100% me. There was some misunderstanding. So I'm just like going with the days, but also like you know what I mean? It's a different thing. Like it's almost like cosplay, and I'll never understand it. I just don't work the way comedy works, or the way they do, and I don't know. I just study it now.
But the people that make it big usually also are the same way, Mark. The people that make it real big you usually don't hear the story of how they blended in and were in the crowds and all that. I mean, Stephen Wright, the legendary story of him in the 70s in Boston, when Boston comics were all the ones that were the killers of that area. And Johnny Carson was going to send his peaks back in the day. That was the big deal. So like if Carson came and they were going to come to Boston and find it. So Steve Sweeney and McDonald and all these guys that were Boston legends were ready to do it. And there was this nerdy dork that everyone thought wasn't funny, Stephen Wright. And he happened to be there. And they're like, oh, no one's going to want your bullshit. You're no good. And he did that. And the Johnny Carson guy saw that and said, yeah, I want that. I don't want Boston references. I want this other guy because this makes me laugh. So in that one environment, he wasn't thriving, and someone else saw him and said, you just belong somewhere else. And it's not that he wasn't good or whatever. And he didn't, all of a sudden he's the star and they're all like trying to kiss his ass. But that's usually who rises, the person that has to find adversity and still find their way through.
And that's what I'm doing is I'm just trying to have a more positive outlook on everyone of like a live and let live mentality, not so much wanting to tear other people down because it's like, oh, this person only got their spot because they're friends with this or personal politics. Like, I don't want to be that guy anymore. I just want to be the focus on my own and try to make something. You know?
Yeah, but then the next step is to go, who gives a fuck what they're saying? Because that's just them not focusing on their shit. I'll never think about what you're doing. I'll just be happy that you're doing it.
But this is what I'm saying is that works in comedy, but in hip hop, like that leads to people getting murdered. You know what I mean? So it's like
in certain environments, but I know like we have a guest on one time, Sam Buck. Sam Buck's podcast is blowing up, and he's got all these rappers that are on now from like Buffalo and stuff like that. And now the new group of guys, they're all embracing each other way more. It's more. I think now that social media has become like the only way to do it. That people have kind of gotten away from that fake hard shit, and they've really gone to let's all just try to be entertaining on this little screen that everyone stares at.
Yeah, that's where I've gotten in comedy. Except for me, it was never fake. It was thinking that everyone was real, thinking that every situation with a comic was a life or death thing. And now I'm like, all right, that it may not be a life or death thing, but I still have that fucking,
right,
feeling.
fucking CIA, goddamn it.
Mark, you live your life by a live and let live model. I live mine by a live and let jizz model.
Who's that model?
Kill and kill.
Where you have to just jerk everybody off.
I just thought you were gonna have a model.
I mean, politically, it makes sense in comedy.
Yeah, that's what it is. But
You
Pat's
really-
absolutely
but
right. Like,
is that the secret? You just tell everyone they're great? Because I always did it.
He doesn't.
because-
Oh no.
No,
Just so
my
you
thing
know,
is-
Bobby's ruined his whole career by not being nice.
My thing is, I because this is the thing is, I always hate that they say brutal honesty of like they use it as an excuse to be an asshole. You could perceive anything through any lens, so it's like there's always a positive light. So I've always on air, off air, always said the more positive thing. Like if I noticed negative things, I've always just said the positive thing, but it was genuine because I'm always high on opiates. So there was always just love filling out of me.
Right.
So
And then
but I guess
sometimes people don't like it when you flow your love on them. That's
Yeah.
some people don't know how to
But-
react to it. You know.
but that's another thing is maybe they think I'm all being fake because they're all fake, but it's like everything I've ever said, good and bad, was genuine, and whether I meant it or not, I still am confused. But it's like that's kind of where I was going with it, is just being genuine, and
Right.
it seems like the industry is like the opposite.
Yeah,
just-
it's the industry that you're looking at in that one spot in that one place, but there's
Yeah.
other places where it thrives. There's so many doors and avenues, you don't know what's going to happen. You brought up one of your future wives, Chrissy Mayer, and when she was doing stand up, she was doing in New York trying to find her
Don't
spot.
talk about it.
When Wet Spot happened and that became a thing, she learned a different avenue and worked hard and found different doors to open
But
up.
that's
and
what
become
I'm
this
doing.
bigger
That's
thing
what I'm
than
doing.
anything.
That's what I'm
saying.
doing now. That's
but-
why
right.
I'm going back to the music, and I'm going back to like making.
What I'm
like,
saying is don't limit yourself. Don't worry
And
about this person
that's what
thinks
I
this
did.
and this person thinks that.
That's what I did. For those 4 years, I limited myself to only one avenue. And for the past year, ever since, I mean, it's sad that maybe getting off my medication or switching different medications is what made me think of like, I could be on, like you said, like all these hip hop podcasts, and then that's where I find my avenue as a comic, like there. Or I could be in like, like I'm marketing the one podcast I have as a true crime podcast. Like I could be accepted in that market. It's not a true crime podcast.
Yeah.
It's a comedy. It's just unfortunately every story in my life has been a true crime story. So I'm like, fuck it, use the hashtag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you confess to your murders, I'd listen.
I would have a.
No, but that's the only way I've figured out life is to go let everyone do their thing, be supportive, not
prove
judgmental.
that they were. You can't prove that the body was dead just because a shot was fired.
But
That was
Well, I
a
was about to
joke
do
by
an
Mark Random.
joke.
And that was Mark Random trying to further the Mark Random brand, which is a comic with this hip hop edge. If this is to be used by the CIA or
CIA is not
FBI,
watching our show. I wish
if
they
this
would.
is
We'd
to
have
be
more
used
views.
by the
The
FBI,
HR department of
FBI,
certain
this
big
is just
organizations,
me
maybe,
playing a
but not
character,
the
and
CIA.
I've never really fired a gun at anyone in Jersey City in 2005 because there was 4 of them, and what was I to do? You know what I mean? So like that it was. Sorry.
No, it's okay. But like Bobby was saying, the CIA is not watching it. But if you wanted to get a job at a retail store in Connecticut, you might be limited now because they watch
Yeah.
this so they could fire me. Anyway,
Well, the fucking FBI investigated me for a Parkland.
all those
shooting
3-lettered
joke.
assholes. The Parkland thing?
We talked
Yeah,
about
that was
No,
in
hold on.
2018. It was in the documentary Lizzie made about me. Oh my god, son of a bitch! Fuck.
what's wrong.
God damn it! No. I just like,
What's
I
wrong? How the fuck do you ask that question? What's wrong?
He just paused and froze
That
mid sentence.
documentary that Girl That Loves Me made about me being involved in Parkland. What's wrong?
No, I'm replaying
Yeah.
my whole.
I watched you
relationship
replay your life right there. Hey, Mark, remember we said earlier before the show started, sometimes we go to a story if we need to. Yeah, with you, we never need to. There's no
we
need.
knew we weren't going to.
God damn it!
There's no
Holy
piece
shit.
of shit in this story. You're a wonderful guy.
All right, I got to say this because I've been thinking about it since we talked about Dylan Ruth earlier. What if it was
How
Dylan Sprouse instead? And then
God damn
Cole
it.
could just be like, "No, was it me?" And then Dylan would be like, "Or was it me?" And then they'd get off because they couldn't prove which one did it.
Okay, so here's what I'm trying to say. And I have something to say
it's
with the
Cole
Dylan
Sprouse.
Roof thing. Is I have more of a paranoia because the FBI did investigate me in 2018 for a Parkland shooting joke. So I'm always like, oh, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And oddly, the police have come to me and they're just like, oh, we're just checking on you. But it's always after some weird thing happened in a comedy club. I don't know if the two are related. I know causation doesn't equal correlation, but it is real. So it's like,
Right.
I have to have that awareness. But the thing I would say, Dylan Roof, and you guys should look this up. His friend was this black kid. And have you
It's
ever
the
seen
worst kind.
You
No,
know
no,
what
no,
his
no, no.
black friend should have bought him, Pat? Some
Sorry.
Silk City hot sauce.
No,
That's
you
right.
guys-
Could
No,
some
let him
Silk
do his
City.
thing. Let him do his story first.
No,
Don't cut him off.
this guy, the way he described his relationship with Dylan, I was like, this is like this. It's the human embodiment of like a best friend, because he's a black kid. And he goes, man, me and Dylan, we would just drink, play Call of Duty, and they're like, he murdered black families and children. How do he goes? I don't look at him any different. I mean, he had his reasons. He was like, the mom, like he's a black dude.
Jesus.
And the guy went on a racist murder and he shot up a black church and the black kid's like, that's my man though. Like, you can't get that loyalty out of a white person. Like that to me, like it's a mind-blowingly just beautiful how his friend still vouched for him, like in all the interviews about Dylan Roof's like church shooting.
Dylan Ruth probably knows where some bodies are. What do you think about that? Maybe? Like, why else?
You know his middle name was Storm.
You were
That's
supposed to be the future of meteorology.
That's just like Dylan Storm is just such a white privilege. Like,
Wait,
he had a bowl
what's
haircut.
his last name?
What? Well, Roof.
Storm Roof. Maybe that's what his family did. Sorry, that was a bad joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's okay. It's fine.
He didn't want the FBI investigating him, so he's just like, all right, what could be silly, friendly that won't cause any stirrups? I get it.
Oh, bowl haircut. Because that's where I don't believe. That's where I think the CIA is involved. Because if you're telling me his best friend was black, no black guy would hang out with a white guy with a bowl haircut. So I
But
don't
he
believe that. That's a
was?
staged friend.
I don't know if it was, but to me, like, yeah, I don't know what, like, I shouldn't have said that. I should have asked you your guys' position on where you were in believing of shootings as false flags or not. Yeah, I can't find this kid's name.
As false flags?
Or staged events.
They're red flags. If a girl on a dating app is like, I love school shootings, I'm like, yeah, let's hang out later.
I'm like, all right, I got a chance.
Baby, are you in for a surprise?
Oh man, I wish the kids didn't have school tomorrow. I can take care of that.
You have the Columbine kids tattooed on you, Soul Paris? Well, check out my high school notebook.
How do you feel about certain ethnicities?
Do you know
and if
Soul
somebody...
Paris?
No.
Soul Paris. Oh my god, I love this chick. She's fucking hot as hell. And I hate saying that because I always like to think about the personality rather than physical, but she's so fucking hot. She had tattoos of the Columbine kids on like her arms, on like her legs, and then she went to try to redo the Columbine shooting. She flew to the place in Littleton, Colorado, and she unfortunately ended up just shooting herself with a shotgun, but she was just so obsessed. And I had a bit that I never used.
What's her name?
Soul Paris. SOLPAIS. Notice how I know, like,
Yeah.
people like that. Like,
I don't know if you
people
want to
like that.
Google that, Pat.
Do it. She's
I mean,
pretty
she's
hot.
not that cute.
Really?
I think she's all right, but not worth. Okay, you have to judge the attractiveness to the headache.
Why haven't
She
you
has
shot up a school
Columbine
yet?
tattoos. You have to be hotter than that to have Columbine tattoos.
I think you don't have to be hot. I think the Columbine tattoos are what makes.
No,
makes
for
it
me to
hot.
let it go.
Oh. Oh yeah, like Pat's the guy in healthy relationships. I'm the one in like.
Oh, I am not.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like you're
Oh,
the
my
one.
friend,
Like,
I am not.
I'm like, who the fuck are you preaching standards
in
about
this-
what you would accept in a woman?
In this
No, I'm
instance-
not accepting it. I'm just saying for me to go to like bring my girlfriend to my parents' house and there's a pool and she has, you can see the tattoo and they're like, oh, it's the Columbine kids, but she's crazy in bed.
Mark's the Socrates of this relationship, where he's like, yeah, we both love crazy bitches. I just acknowledge it. I'm like, the crazier they are, it's in my wheelhouse.
It's
It's not that I like them, it's they like me. I was like that. I go with the flow. If you like me, I'm just thanks for liking me.
Yeah,
I just show up.
That's. But to me,
Just
it's
glad
like,
for the gig.
but there has to be something to that.
Books your
because
pussy. Sorry.
there has to be something to like why I would attract like someone like Jesseline Maxwell is someone like I think about like I wish I could be in the same party with and to like run game or like that's where you'd actually see me like try to be like pick up lines and everything because I never try with women. I think it's a wasted effort. I believe love
But if
is
they
all
were
in
hired to
debate.
be there, a bunch of kids had to do what you said.
If it's their job.
No, but no, but like something about like a Jesseline Maxwell, I would, you know,
You
I
like
don't
the
know.
you like the confidence bitch.
I just like I don't know.
Everybody you named has crazy confidence.
She's self-sufficient, maybe. She's a
Super villain.
provider.
Super villain. You're
No,
attracted
but
to super villains.
get away from that part. The super villain part. We're finding something. That's what Mark's attracted to.
What?
Confidence.
Self-made, confident. They don't need you, so you like the fact that they just want to be with you because you hate being needed. Because being needed gives you a fucking sense of, oh shit, I gotta provide. So therefore, you want somebody who's this badass bitch, if you will. That's what you named all these women that fucking made their own fucking path, and Ghislaine being the queen of that. That's what you're attracted to because it allows you to be you and just you.
And then if they choose you without needing you at all, they really want you for you.
Yeah. Or they want to use you for an accessory. But either way,
Or they're CIA and they're gonna.
Pat's throwing the realistic, like he's taking shots at what I just realized 10 minutes ago, and
I'm not taking shots.
No,
I understand what you're doing. I'm not.
You're
I get it. I'm attracted to women that are fucking self-made and fucking strong.
No,
confident.
but like the way you broke that down of like, so it gives me the ability to be myself, and I know they'll like me for me. You know, that is true.
That's what I look for. Let me be me. Don't fucking look at me and go, he's a comic, he's this, so he better be this. Like, no, I'm also very sad and I like to be alone a bunch. You might see me stand in front of people and do things, but that's not always who I am. Don't judge me on that one thing. I don't judge you on your pic while you're sitting on a motorcycle. Like that's what you do all day. That's your one stupid picture. So don't judge me because I'm holding the microphone and think I'm always Mr. Fun Time.
So if the CIA sets me up with an AR-15 in 2026 to shoot up a bunch of stand-up comics, don't judge me on that one news story.
Well, the good news is because I've been nice to you this whole podcast, I'll get a tap on the shoulder sometime in 2026 going, don't go to that show.
I mean, that's the thing is I never really considered shooting up a comedy club. It's just what happened was
I'm saying it.
No. It got put in my head so much that I actually like, am I supposed to like, is that my fucking purpose?
No.
If everyone
Let me just say, no, it is not your purpose. That is the opposite of your purpose. Your purpose is to overcome that demon and kill.
Yes. I fucking love you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the constantly be tempted by it, but to never do it, do your comedy and just carry out the dream.
But to me, it's almost like there is something funny because the whole, like, there is something poetic about comedy is supposed to be funny, and I am having bad incidents in comedy because I'm finding that people are taking it too serious. So it's like to create such a horrible, serious event that they then have to be funny about. You know what I mean? Like comics would have to write material about the shooting. They would have to make it funny because that's literally why comedy exists, to make tragic things funny. So if I created something tragic, they would have to make it funny. They couldn't not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do
like
know what
testing
you're
them at your
saying,
jobs.
but let me be as
Yeah,
clear
that's
as I
what it
can.
is.
You don't. That's not what you're supposed to do.
You are a fucking
I
angel.
told him to stay in his own lane and do what he wants, Bobby. You leave him alone.
Can I tell you what I think your purpose is, Mark, in all honesty?
No, I get it. Like,
No.
my
Can I be
purpose to-
100% just tear down this wall? Mark, there are a lot of kids who are different. They don't do the normal thing of like, oh, I play football, I'm the Americana. They like different things. They have weird hobbies. They want to try different things.
Yeah.
And you're the guy who's supposed to be there to show them they can. That there's a place for them in this world, that people enjoy them. Like Pat and I, you're one of our favorite guests. We have you in small doses because, again, we don't want you to think we're the CIA or anything. But
Or are we?
Ooh. But you show people that there's a place for everybody. You can rap, you can do comedy, you can go do crazy things and come back and still be accepted by people. Like, just focus on accepting yourself,
Yeah,
so you can show them that they have to accept themselves
and
too.
that's my 2022 thing, is like that's where the podcast idea came from. Like the podcast I'm doing with Lizzie Durazo, it materialized. It's weird because it's like we recorded in January, mixed the episodes like March and April, and had people help us and stuff. But it's like as I was going through the process, I was saying like first I wanted it to be like an advice show and a comedy show because I was like I want to uplift people. Then all the stories are really dark and fucked up. So I was like, oh, I'm just that guy. I'm the guy that you meet when your life is in disarray. I've always been that in relationships. And so like I'll never be a fucking Kanye West saving the world or influential, but I'll be that figure that gives you the
He
advice.
said
And it's like
figure.
figure, yes, world. You can't clip that out and say I said something else. FIGUR. But like, and so that's what I'm now presenting on podcasts, which is why it's called Dark Nights, because I'm an insomniac. And the Roman Catholicism dark night of the soul. A human goes through a dark night of the soul, their life is normal, and then they get thrown off, and then everything becomes horrible. Night is day, up is down. And those are every single person I've ever met in my life, is they're at the most fucked up point in their life. So it's like now I'm just advertising it as like this is who I am. I'm the guy who overcomes his dark bullshit and explains things from that sort of dark world. And unfortunately, world, it's not a gimmick, but I accept that about myself in 2022. And I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to try to hide it. I'm going to say, yes, I have had suicidal, homicidal thoughts. Who hasn't? I think everyone, just like racism and canceling,
Wait,
everyone
homicidal?
heterocidal. I don't know. I was just
No,
saying words.
homicidal. The way you said it, though, I'm like, is it just killing the gays?
Homicidal. Killing gays. You would have to call it homicidal.
Homo.
No, but like, so that's what you just said, Bobby, is what I only realized this year about myself. I did realize that that's what it is. Fucking Doug Stanhope.
And to be honest with you, I didn't realize
Fuck him, that unfunny guy.
you were that unconfident in
Brilliant.
yourself for a long time, because I saw you as a fan first, and then we met, at Compound and things like that. But it was only through that I realized what you were dealing with, because you present yourself as this confident guy, and that's why I'd always appreciated about you, is in those moments where you were just being Mark Random.
It was.
And I relate to Mark
real,
more
though.
than you, Bobby, because I find Christina Hutchinson way hotter than Lindsay Lohan.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. Bobby
No,
loves
again,
Lindsay Lohan.
You're right. I would be with Lindsay Lohan because, holy shit, Pat, I love
Bobby
you.
loves Lindsay. You would be with her because,
because she's self-sufficient. So
Yep.
I could just be a rapper and give advice to weird people that I meet at 3 a.m.
at
I
some
wouldn't have
random
to-
party. Yeah.
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 Of the
You
two
and
of
Bobby
us,
should go on tour.
which one of us is more likely to end up in Turkey? You, Random. But I feel like maybe at this point,
Who's going to
Lindsay's-
end up with a sandwich made of turkey? Bobby.
Me. Right, and I feel like at this point, Lindsay may need the turkey made of sandwich more than a rapper. I don't know.
Exactly, because when she's done going through her dark night of the soul, she's going to want stability. She's going to
That's-
want sustainability, which you definitely are.
That's the smoothest
Oh.
way I've ever heard somebody call dibs, by the way. Yeah,
Well-
after she's done with her dark conscious of the soul, then she can go hang out with you, man.
After she's done with the coolest phrase ever said, you
Yeah.
have.
After she's just like, I need a lame-o, then she can get with you.
No, but you set yourself up there by saying turkey sandwich.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course,
he knows.
yeah. No, I love you, Mark. I'm just
He's a
busting
pinata.
balls.
He knows. Mark, please tell people where they can follow you, check you out, and stuff. Thank you so much for being on.
All right. You could find me. I did a spiritual philosophy on I did what I believe my spiritual philosophy comedy to be. Mark Random, just YouTube that. Dark Nights with Lizzie and Random, Fridays at 8 p.m. And occasionally, like, I just post stand-up clips. I'm doing stand-up, and I'll post songs here or there. I don't know which ones are good. I have songs, so just content. It'll be there. Mark Random.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Bobby.
And the documentary's still out. It was made in 2018, but we only put it out a year ago, so that's still.
Yeah, so check it out. Where can they see
Yeah.
it? On your site?
Yeah. Who
Nice.
Killed Comedy, directed by Lizzie Durazo.
And in 2026, it'll be Who Killed That Comedy Club? Bobby, go ahead.
Probably after Lizzie leaves me and gets with someone who's stable and has a job and knows their parents and doesn't have past trauma and doesn't need to sleep with a gun and you know.
All right, well,
Some
I guess
very
the
insightful
trauma
comedians.
part I have, so I'm out. Whatever, but anyways, go ahead, Bobby.
A very insightful comedian made some very insightful comments about comedians and being modern day philosophers. But Mark RanDom, you are actually a modern day philosopher. If you get the chance, check out that podcast.
And he's homicidal.
And he's homicidal.
New album name, by the
I
way.
would have to kill gay people because no one would talk about it. Like, that's the thing that sucks about diversity now. It's like, if I kill all white people, no one will give a shit. So it's like, I look at a black person and I'm like, I'm sorry, I got to do it to you, man.
I don't want to.
I have to be racist. Otherwise, people will just think I'm racist.
That'd be great if there was the sketch that would never make it. The woke school shooter who has to make sure he's getting all the types.
Yeah.
Are you trans? I'm 6. Put a dick on, quick.
What do you identify as? Tell me, the gun's jamming.
Dead. Bobby, what are you promoting?
Check out the Davy Mac Sports program. It's back and alive. We had Jedi Jared, a.k.a. White Jared, on this week. You may recognize him from a lot of stuff Dave did in the old days. He's the original East Side Dave show producer. It's a lot of fun. Stevie Lou and I will be working on a show together with the one, the only, the lovely Ray DeVito this Sunday. Following Sunday, I'll be at a show with Earl David Reed, and we will be at a show, I believe, July 11th, but we'll confirm the date later, Pat.
We know what it is, just I don't know. Speaking of Stevie Lou and Ski Mask and all those guys, they were the last 2 guests we had on the show. So go back to the Patreon or the YouTube and go check those out. They were great. Shows I got coming up. This will come out on Wednesday. So Thursday I'm at Comics Mohegan Sun, 10 p.m. Friday I'm doing a show for a former guest we used to have on here who passed away, young rapper by the name of the Red Baron, died way too soon. It's a huge celebration with comics and rappers and stuff like that, money going to his family. So come on out. That's in Hampton, Connecticut. You can find all the details on my social media stuff. June 11th is my big show in Derby with Johnny Rizzo. So come check that out. Thank you for subscribing to the shows. Silk City Hot Sauce. If you like to kill kids, you're not allowed to have it. But if you love kids, you can have Silk City Hot Sauce. Use the promo code POS. Save 15% off. And that way you can donate that money to people that don't like to kill kids. Mark, thank you so much for being on, man. I really appreciate it.
This was the first time I've done a podcast where I felt like it was like this therapeutically comedic experience. And it wasn't just me hostilely lashing out, making things more toxic. Yeah. I feel like I'm a lot healthier now that the hours passed. So
well, good. Then the mission that the CIA gave us was correct. We did the right thing. So they told us to steer you wrong. Perfect. Bobby, go ahead.
If you can't beat him, if you can't join him, beat him. Mark RanDom, we love you, and don't be a piece
You're garbage.
of shit.
It's okay.
God bless.